Ronnie has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease now for a couple of years, although he is still living a fairly normal life with his wife Jo. They have 2 grown-up children, Mark and Clare, who live away from home. Most people outside the home see Ronnie's dementia as not being too bad, since when they meet him he seems to act pretty normal. In their younger days, Ronnie and Jo used to be mods, and Ronnie owned a Vespa motor scooter which was affectionately known as the Rocket. Jo has been secretly learning to ride a motorbike so that she can take Ronnie on a scooter rally to Brighton.
Hi, it's me, Jo. I've just got to tell someone my news, so I rang you. Guess what I've only just gone and done? No. No, I'd never do that to Ronnie. No, definitely not. I might have done that when I was a bit younger, though. No. All right, I'll tell you. I've passed my bike test. I can now ride a motorbike. Or in our case, I can ride the scooter at last and take Ronnie out on it. Yes, of course I'll be okay. It'll be like the old days. But with him riding pillion and me out in front with him holding on to my love handles. Why? Because of the rally in August to Brighton. Ronnie was always saying that we should do it one day, and we're finally going to do it now, because now there's a woman in charge, and it won't just be reading about it in a magazine or talking about it with the lads in the pub. I'm fed up of all the magazines lying around the house with pictures of shiny scooters with glamorous couples sitting on them. This time it's going to be me and Ronnie on the Rocket. No, that isn't a sexual position, or if it is, I've certainly not done it, or even heard of it. Anyway, I'm sure all of those glamorous people probably don't exist, and those pictures are all produced by that A1 trickery. No, not the A1 road, A1 technology. I read about it all the time and how it's going to take over the world. Are you sure it's called AI? I always thought it was A1. Oh, well, A1 or AI, all those glamour pussies can get on their bikes and get on the A1 and go as far north as they possibly can in my mind. The scooter? Well, I've found a local mechanic who's going to get it all sorted for me and MOT it and all that. He's had a look at it, reckons it shouldn't be too big of a job, as Ronnie always did spend a lot of time on it. He was always changing the oil, greasing nipples or polishing something or another. All I'm going to do is go and buy some new wing mirrors like I saw on the film Quadrophenia. But I want pink ones. And if I can't get pink ones, I'm going to have some and spray them pink. Now that the scooter is in my hands, it will be displaying a little more feminine qualities. Ronnie always referred to it as she and would put horrible blokey type bits on her when we were younger, and more spotlights than a man could ever need. So now I'm going to refer to it as he and stick some nice girly bits on it, him. In fact, I'll probably just call it by the name Ronnie used to use all those years ago, the Rocket, and that'll stop any confusion. Oh, anyway, Sue, I've got to go. There's someone at the door. Maybe it's Dave, the motorbike mechanic. Maybe he's heard through the grapevine I've passed my test and he's coming around to give me a service. Oh, Tom, it's you.
That's nice. Who were you expecting? Your local MP? That would be a surprise.
No, sorry, come in. How are you?
Yes, good, thanks. I was coming back from the shops and I remembered I said I would drop some records off that I had in the boot of my car. Ronnie and I were talking about them in the pub the other night. I said I was going to take them to the charity shop, but when Ronnie heard that I'd got some Who albums and some Northern Soul, he said he wouldn't mind having them.
Great, yes. Well, we still play records here. Ronnie's still got quite a large collection. Would you like a cup of tea?
Yes, that would be great. Do you have any oat milk?
Yes, we have got some long life for when Clare comes. Take a seat and I'll be right with you.
Great. Just oat milk, please. No sugar. Not a bad day out there. Not a bad day out there. A bit cold first thing when I took the dog out. Shouldn't complain really this time of year. Bit of a looker in her day.
Pardon?
Oh, nothing. Just saying, looking a nice day.
Oh.
You have some great old pictures here, Jo. I've never seen any of these before. Look at the clothes and all that hair. Did we really have hair like that once upon a time? Look at those old cars. My dad used to have a Ford Anglia, a light blue one, I think, like the one in the photograph. Well, it looks sort of blue in a black and white kind of way. Yeah, my dad had a 1960 105E. I think it was the 997cc overhead valve engine. Had a 4-speed gearbox with synchro on top gears. I can't really remember much about it. It was a long time ago now.
Yes, sounds like you don't remember much. Here's your tea, Tom. Oat milk, no sugar.
Thank you. So, is that you in the picture, Jo?
Which one?
The one on the scooter taken just outside the old cinema.
Oh, yes. That's me with Ronnie in my younger days when I was very much in love with him and he with his Vespa scooter. I've got all the old photographs back out again recently for Ronnie to help with his memory. In fact, I was just talking to Susan on the phone about Dave the motorbike mechanic coming round to do a service and MOT for me, and I was joking with her that it might be him at the door when you knocked.
Dave? Why would he be coming round to see you? He only services bikes, you know, not cars or Fiat Pandas, if you can call that a car. Sorry, but you have to admit it's a funny-looking little car.
How rude. Well, I've got something to tell you, Tom, that may come as a bit of a shock and completely shatter your male ego.
What?
I've been learning to ride a motorbike and I've just passed my test and I have my licence now to ride a motorcycle, or in my case, a scooter.
You're joking, aren't you?
No, Tom, I kid you not. I have my pass certificate here and will soon get my full licence.
More like a licence to kill. Sorry, I couldn't resist that.
Very funny, ha ha.
So, why? Why now? I mean, that sounds great, and all that, but don't you think you're...
A little old? A bit daft? Oh yes, I almost forgot. I am a woman.
No. Well, yes, a bit.
A bit what?
Well, a little bit bonkers, I guess.
I'm going to take Ronnie to a scooter rally in Brighton, where we used to go when we were younger, before it's too late.
Too late?
Yes, too late for Ronnie to ride on the scooter.
Ronnie ain't that bad, is he, Jo? He always seems fine when we go down the pub together. He knows what he wants, pays for it okay, and chats to everyone like normal, in fact. He seems to have a new lease of life when he's there, chatting away with anyone he meets. I've even seen him, well, perhaps I shouldn't say this.
No, go on.
Well, like chatting to women he's never met before. And as you know well, or probably don't know, he was never very good at chatting up women, was he?
I don't mind, really. Honest. It's probably part of how the dementia has changed him. Looks like for the good, if he's chatting up other women now.
You think so? That's very good of you to accept that.
The thing is, as you say, he didn't do it, or wasn't very good at it in his younger days, as he obviously had a beautiful wife waiting for him at home. And I love him and respect him for that. So if he wants to have a little sparkle and a little flirt a bit now, it's okay with me. But you don't see him at home. He's not like that here at all. He gets confused real easy and frustrated with himself. and he certainly can't find his way around the kitchen anymore.
Well, show me a man who can.
No, I'm not talking about cooking. I'm talking about stuff, like finding where the salt and vinegar is when we have chips. And then when he finds it, he puts it in a place no one else can find. Do you know we're on our 3rd vinegar bottle this month?
3rd vinegar bottle? Where do you think he puts them?
God knows. But I've told him the other day he'll have to buy the next one if he loses this one. Do you know, the other day I came down, he was eating his Weetabix out of the cutlery drawer. He'd taken out all the teaspoons, put a couple of Weetabix in there, bit of sugar, poured milk over them, and he was eating them as though it was perfectly normal.
No. Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, kind of makes sense, I guess. You're saving on the washing up, I suppose, but a bit weird, mind you. Are you sure he's not just having a laugh, winding you up? Sounds like a great crack to me. I think I might try that on Susan.
I wish he were, but he's not trying to wind me up. I sometimes think he must know what he's doing, and yes, it can drive me mad at times.
So when did you first notice any sign of him acting strange or forgetting stuff?
Well, it was when he wanted that pond in the garden for his birthday a few years ago, which I knew he'd always wanted. And then one of our neighbours was giving away some fish. He was dead set on it. So we dug the hole, bought a liner and a pump and a green genie water filter, the kind that sits on the side of the pond. Our son Mark was there helping him with the digging.
Yes, I remember you building the pond now.
Anyway, when Mark opened the box, we couldn't find any connecting hoses between the pump and the filter. So he says to Ronnie, "Oh, shite, they've forgotten to put in any hoses. You know, the black corrugated stuff."
Yeah, I know the stuff you mean.
And Ronnie, as you know, has worked as an engineer all his life, in one way or another, and who did all our car servicing and scooter service, and says to Mark, "Why do you need hosepipe to connect the pump to the filter?" Which is sitting at least 5 feet away on the other side of the pond. That's when I knew something was wrong. He'd forgotten a few odd things, like when we were going out for the day. I put that down to natural old age forgetfulness, and of course being a man. But Ronnie, thinking that he didn't need hosepipe to pump water from one end of the pond to the other, that was different.
I'm really sorry. That is sad. I didn't know that. It must have been hard to go through that.
Yeah, I know. That's the stuff that really gets to me. Seeing the man I love disappearing in front of my eyes. And yes, I know you don't think he's that bad when you see him down the pub. Mark and Clare say the same when they visit here. They say, "Why are you making such a fuss, Mum? Dad can still do most things on his own okay." But they don't see him day to day. They're not the ones searching for salt and pepper pots or the vinegar bottles or washing the cutlery drawer up.
I can see how difficult that must be for you, dealing with that all the time, Jo.
And yes, it drives me mad, thinking if he can act normal when other people are about, why can't he do that for me? But I have to accept that's the way it is. Someone explained it to me, that they can step into a window when people are around because of the adrenaline, but unfortunately they can't keep it up for long.
So Ronnie kind of steps through that window when he's down the pub with me then?
Yes, I'm sure he probably does. I'm not alone. I know other carers I've met through the support group say exactly the same thing, that their friends say, "Oh, we can't see a lot wrong with your old man, really." Of course, the more Ronnie hears that kind of stuff, the more he says, "Told you so. I haven't got dementia. I'm just a bit forgetful." Forgetting, of course, the fact that he's had a scan and that doctors have told him he has dementia. Ronnie used to moan like hell to us about us all wanting him to stop driving until he had that accident.
What accident? I didn't know he had an accident.
Well, when I say accident, it wasn't really an accident. He just crashed into the garage doors, knocked them off the hinges when we came home from shopping that day. Anyway, Ronnie swore the brakes failed. I told him it was time to pack driving in, since that could have been a child. And I think that really struck home with him. He finally capitulated and said, "OK, you're probably right," which really surprised me.
Well, It makes sense when you put it like that. You have to think about the safety of others using the road. I bet you're glad you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yes, but the funny thing was, and you must promise not to tell Ronnie a word of what I'm about to tell you, Tom.
Yes, OK.
Well, I'm not proud of this, but I'm sure glad it happened. About a week later, when I was driving the car, I noticed the yellow ABS light had come on the dashboard. And I went to brake, and the brakes failed. It felt like there was something stopping the pedal going down. Luckily, I was only driving through the village at 30 miles an hour.
Blimey, you were lucky then.
Yes, in more ways than one. Anyway, I took the car to the local garage and they told me it was a common fault on those cars. So he disabled the ABS temporarily so the brakes wouldn't fail on me. And that's when I bought my lovely little Fiat Panda.
So there really was a problem with the brakes then, when Ronnie crashed into the garage?
Yes, so all in all it was a blessing in disguise, in that Ronnie accepted it was time for him to give up driving and no one got hurt. And I got a nice little car.
Are you sure about going on the scooter rally then, Jo?
Yes, definitely. I've lost a little bit of my Ronnie, but I still have a lot of him left and I intend to make the most of what quality time we have left together. As I've heard people say in the support group, don't get too despondent about how things are, because the next stage will be even worse than the previous stage, and so forth. So while I've got blood in my veins and Ronnie's got two arms to hold on to me, and we are going on that rally.
Anyway, where is the old man? It's him I came round to see, really.
Oh, he's in the garage polishing his beloved rocket. Now he knows we're going on this rally, he's started going out and doing little bits and bobs. I haven't told him yet about me getting some pink wing mirrors fitted. He's really excited about it and happy for me to drive the scooter, which is amazing. See, I could never imagine that he would have let me ride her in the old days.
That's really great. I think I understand a bit better why you're adamant about going on this rally. He'll love it. It puts me to shame. I often think about things these days and say to myself, you're probably too old for that, Tom.
You're not old. You're still a young, fit man, Tom.
Well, I don't know about young. Bloody hell, just look at that.
Hey, he said he was going to mix up some two-stroke today. He hasn't lost his touch. Look at my man, Tom. I'm so proud of him. He's certainly stepped through that window for me today, hasn't he?
He certainly has. You might not need to call Dave the mechanic after all.
I'm going to get my phone to take a picture to show the kids.
I don't mean to worry you, Jo, but Ronnie has taken the scooter off the stand and is now sitting on her with his coat on. You'd better come and have a look.
What? Ronnie! Where do you think you're going on that thing? I better stop him.
Where was he off to then, Jo?
He was only going off to the shops to get me that bottle of vinegar and said he couldn't drive the car anymore, so he'd nip down on the rocket for me. Anyway, I've told him that you were here with those records. He's coming in now.
You're going to have a great time with Ronnie on that scooter rally to Brighton, Jo.
And I just...
Ronnie and the Rocket by Trevor Whitney, featuring Sally Curl as Jo and Peter Chinnery as Tom.